Hello and welcome to the I'm too busy to vlog, so instead I'm pre-filming a video challenge part 2. If you want regular vlogs, they'll be back next week. Right now, however, I have a bunch of stuff on my desk that is effectively useless because I no longer have a smartphone, so let's just take a look at them. So we have here a bunch of useless tech, plus this iPad which is my live viewfinder, which Panasonic, if you're watching this app is terrible. It keeps disconnecting, and then there's also this I think it's a 780 Ti, which is dead, so technically also useless, but nothing to do with the fact I don't have a smartphone. This is something I've been meaning to take apart for a little while now, and I will do at some point. There's a nice variety of stuff here. Let's start with stuff that's genuinely useless, that I just straight up can't use, and that's these. These are my Jaybird X3s. They are Bluetooth headphones, and I love them dearly. They are great. These used to be my daily drivers with the what's it called, foam ear tips? Comply, that's one, with the Comply foam ear tips. These things are great to wear. I really love them. The passive noise isolation is incredible in these, and I genuinely really love them, but I've got nothing to use them with apart from maybe my Chromebook, but for that I have wired headphones which work better. If you're looking for a pair of Bluetooth headphones, the X4s recently came out and they're just as good, but slightly water resistant. But for me, these are now entirely useless. And continuing in that vein is this. This is the Ultimate Ears Wonder Boom speaker, which again, great device. It's really cool. It's a Bluetooth speaker. It's great, but it's effectively useless. There's no aux cable, there's no way for me to connect to this without Bluetooth, and I can kind of use it with my laptop. I sometimes use it with my Google Home Mini, which is just there. There's also a soundbar, which is under this screen, so I usually just connect to that soundbar instead of to this. Which again, it's a bit of a shame. It's a thing that I quite like, but it's a thing that I can't use. Then there's this, the phone gimbal, which recently started developing like a rattling noise, which I just noticed because I haven't picked this up in about a month if I do this. I don't know what's causing that rattling noise, but that's an issue for future me to deal with 11 months from now. This is a smartphone stabilizer that I used to use for filming stuff. I now have, I love how without a phone in it, this is effectively useless. Hang on, let me grab my, this is my S7 Edge, which is dead and useless effectively. Actually, fun fact, this is how I broke this. I had it in the gimbal, in this, with the case on, so it wasn't holding onto it quite firmly, and I was holding it like upside down like this, and at some point I must like step too hard, and that caused this to open slightly and my phone to fall out, and it landed face first, which is how this cracked, which is, I don't think it's a story I've ever told. However, if I do power this on, like the device itself technically works, and I'm sure I can give this to someone else to use, and it's like fine. So this is on follow mode. Like the actual device itself works fine. I just don't have a smartphone, so I can't use it myself. But I do love this thing. And then we're left with stuff that's just made worse, but isn't entirely useless. And I want to start with my watch. I'm still wearing my Samsung Galaxy Watch because it's a piece of tech I actually really like as a watch as well as a smart device. So it has the heart rate sensor, and then it also has step tracking and stuff, which I can't get off of this watch because you need a smartphone to connect to for that, but it works as on-device stuff. And so it's great to just have sleep tracking and things, even though I've got no way of getting the information off of this. The limited information that is on this is still better than nothing. And it's a watch, which is great, and I use it for that. Oh, and it also connects to my Wi-Fi at home, so I get the weather occasionally. In terms of the things still on this desk, we have this light bulb. This light bulb is actually a relatively recent purchase. I bought this, when did I buy this? Like 2 months ago. Linus Tech Tips did a video on the Yeelight bulbs, and I was actually really intrigued. So I decided to buy one. This is set up in my room, and is great. It works really well. It's a bit of a shame because I can't use it with the smartphone app anymore. The smartphone app was genuinely great. It was great to use. It worked really well, really rapidly. I had widgets set up on one of my screens, so I didn't even have to open the app. I just tapped the widget to turn the light on and off. But it doesn't work like that anymore. I actually disconnected the light switch when I first set this up because people kept turning it off, and I'd be really annoyed when I went to turn it off in the app and it wouldn't turn on. However, I do have a Google Home Hub in my room, so I can control it with that. That lets me do things like change the lights. And I also have the Android app downloaded on my Chromebook, so I can kind of use it occasionally, like if there's a special occasion, or if there's like a reason I need to change the lights that isn't just me being a bit over the top. But other than that, it still kind of works, but isn't as great as it was with a smartphone. And that's a very similar story with this clock. This clock actually I haven't used in a very long time, even before my Smartphoneless challenge, but now it's just a clock. This thing isn't charged, so you won't see it move. You'll notice it's been stationary this entire time. The reason it hasn't been charged is because you have to charge it like every 2 weeks. You can see a little charge port on the bottom. And the reason you have to charge it every 2 weeks is because there's actually a display under this. This is called the Glance Clock. When I bought it, Paul said I was crazy, and now when I think about it, he's not wrong. As much as I kind of genuinely liked using this, the Android app wasn't great. Like, they spent a long time trying to bring it up to parity with the iOS app, but it still wasn't quite as good. And then on top of that, the kind of woeful battery life and the fact that I bought that Google Home Hub I previously mentioned, which just worked also as a clock, meant that this kind of got phased out. Now, I do still really like it, and I have to put it somewhere, I think. It would be great to have this in the office, but there's nowhere to put it because all the walls are like slanted. Like this wall here is slanted, the wall here is slanted, and the only wall that's flat actually has a bunch of stuff on it, so there's nowhere for me to mount this up here. But it would be great to put it somewhere because it is a device I did genuinely like, and I backed on Kickstarter? I don't know if it was Kickstarter or Indiegogo. Whichever one this was on, I backed it on. And finally, my spectacles. There's a reason I left these last, and that's because I want to talk about them. I personally started developing this trend where I'd buy stuff that was cool and techy, but didn't need the tech to work. I think the Glance Clock demonstrates that quite well, because this works even if you don't have a smartphone as a clock, and it's the same with this watch. Even if my phone's dead, it will work as a watch, but isn't quite as great. And this is a pretty similar experience. If the battery on this dies, it's still sunglasses, and I've been using them for the last few weeks as exclusively sunglasses. But it's not entirely that. I've also been filming with these occasionally. I'm being careful to not overload the storage because I'm not quite sure how much storage is on here. I'm pretty certain that it's about 200 snaps worth, which is like 2,000 seconds, which isn't actually that much time. So I've been using it relatively sparingly, with the knowledge that everything that's filmed on here is kind of like a time capsule. I have no way of getting the footage off of these spectacles, so they're waiting for February 1st, 2020, when I can pull the video off, and I think that'll be a really nice thing to experience. Plus, they're sunglasses, and they're great as sunglasses. I enjoy wearing them anyway. There is, however, two more things, but these are the reverse. These are stuff that I didn't have that I now need because I don't have a smartphone. And they're actually both on my keys because I need to make sure I have them wherever I go. I always loved having something unique on my keys. It used to be a small NES controller that didn't actually function but was a really nice keychain, but that was a bit old, so I got rid of it. And now I have these two things. First there's this. This is my YubiKey, and it's my new two-factor authentication device. It used to be my phone. I just get codes through on my phone, or you can, whenever you log into Google, it asks you to hit yes on your phone. I used to be able to use that, but I don't have a smartphone anymore, so I can't, and it's a bit inconvenient getting them to a computer, because that means I have to be at the computer. So instead I have this. This is the YubiKey. It plugs into a USB port, and it just serves, you click it and it does the 2FA thing. LastPass and everything else I have is set up with this YubiKey, and I also have this little USB-C converter for if I'm using a MacBook or my Chromebook, which have USB-C ports. I just carry that around on my keys, so I have this little thing. Also, just in case you hadn't noticed, whilst talking just then, the app broke again. It keeps doing that. It's really a pain. Whoops. I'm just gonna leave that dead because it's dead now and it's dead to me. And then the final piece of tech that I didn't need before but I need now is also two-factor authentication, but this is specifically for banking. How this works is you turn it on, you type in your PIN code. Let me just type in a bunch of ones because it doesn't have to be your actual PIN code. Well, it does. But if you type in the wrong one, it still makes a code. Oh no, it doesn't. It just says fail. There you go. The idea is you type in a PIN code and then it generates the sort of one-time use key thing. And because I don't have a smartphone, so I can't use it through the phone app, I need the physical thing. It's really interesting that all the stuff I've gotten to replace things I need are security related, in the sense that it's the YubiKey and this. I also got that audio recorder that I used to listen to podcasts, but that isn't something I needed. That was more of a comfort thing. These are stuff I did actually need because two-factor authentication is really important, and if you don't have two-factor authentication set up yourself, just do it. Like, seriously, two-factor authentication is very important. But yeah, that's all the stuff that was useful but is now useless, or I didn't have a use for before because it was part of my smartphone and I do need now. If you like this video, awesome. You can always go to snpy.tech/smartphoneless. It's now 2 weeks more than it was, so it's probably now, hang on, what's the date today? 2nd of March, so the next video is on the 4th. We're now 2 weeks past that, so it's the 18th of March, which means I am a ridiculous number of days into this challenge, and so far it's been going quite well. I'll be back next week with a regular vlog. It'll probably be like a catch-up vlog, just explaining everything I've missed, but I don't know, because that's like 3 weeks from now, which is crazy. Do make sure to go over to snpy.tech/smartphoneless to donate. Thank you so much to everyone who's done so far, and then you can also subscribe to see more videos like this one, but they're more vlogs than this, but trust me, just do it. They're great, and they're all a little bit terrifying. I'm now gonna go throw this iPad off a cliff because the app is actually really terrible. Panasonic, if you are watching this, please just fix your iOS app. And I'll see you guys next week.